disability to stop me from being happy. And I want you to know that there are 3 truths to life that I want you to discover. The first thing is the truth of your value. I want you to know that as I travel around the world, I love speaking to little children as well. And I ask them a question. I say, do you think I'm cool enough to be your friend? And they're like, yeah. I said, but I have no arms and no legs. And they say, that's okay. I said, really? They said, yeah. So I said, it doesn't matter how I look, huh? They said, no. I said, then why do we tease each other for how we look if it actually doesn't matter? I want you all to know that I don't know how you look. I don't know what education you have or what you have and what you don't have. The most important thing is to know that the truth of your value is not determined on how many friends you have, or how much money you have, or how much education you have, what disability you have. I want you to know right here, right now, that you're beautiful just the way that you are. And if people, and if people don't want to be your friend because of your disability, well, they're not a true friend. A true friend will love you no matter what. A true friend will not judge you for how you look or wait to see what you can give them. A true friend simply gives, serves, understands, and stands by you no matter what. So if someone doesn't want to be a true friend to you, don't be discouraged. I want you to know that 7 years ago, I met a little boy with no arms and no legs. His name is Daniel, and I write about him in my first book called Life Without Limits. Anyone got that book? Not yet? Check that book out. The second book's called Unstoppable. But in my first book, I talk about how I was speaking in front of a crowd of 300. And I saw a man hold up a little baby with no arms and no legs. And I couldn't believe it. I had never met anyone else like me up until that day. I got the father to bring him up on stage, and he sat next to me. He wasn't even 2 years old. And he looks up at me, and I look down at him. No arms, no legs, and a little foot just like me. It was absolutely incredible. People saw him, and they saw me, and they started crying. I looked at this boy, and I saw myself, and I said, wow, this boy needs to know that there is a truth to his value. I know that he's going to be scared. Maybe he's going to be scared that he's going to be alone. Maybe he's going to get teased at school just like I did. And I looked at myself when I was in school. I wish that I had met someone else like me. You know, I think the fear of being alone is the worst disability of all. And when I saw that boy, I remembered when I felt alone. And I only wish that I met someone else like me. If I had met someone like me and they were happy, well then I know that I could be happy. That would be a miracle. Wouldn't that not be a miracle? Yes. Well, guess what happened? I looked at this boy and I thought to myself, wow, I never got anybody to come to my school who was exactly like me. But I know now that when you don't get a miracle, you can still be a miracle for someone else. When you don't have a true friend, you can still be a true friend for someone else. I looked at this boy and I told his mom, he's gonna be alright. Just take one day at a time and keep on loving him. Well, guess what happened? I promised his mom 7 years ago that when he went to school, I would go to his school and speak about bullying. Why? Because because I knew that he was going to get teased. And if I could speak at his school, well then I knew that this boy would have hope and maybe he would stop being teased. Well, guess what? He turned 6 years old and I went to his school and I talked about being teased. Well, guess what happened after that? Daniel is the coolest guy in the whole school. So I want you to know that you're beautiful just the way that you are. Oh, Nick, but I may never get a job. Yeah, maybe that's true. But you can still love someone. You can still smile at someone. You know, when you're in a wheelchair, your smile is more noticeable than any other person. And I want you to know that this life is not it. Because I believe in Jesus and the fact that he rose himself from the dead, I could believe in another life, a heaven where there is no sickness, where there is no disease. And I can't wait to go to heaven. I don't know about you. I don't know what religion you have, but I believe in heaven. And I believe that while I'm here on earth, I can help others believe in heaven too. Now I want to ask you, what do you think I'm going to choose? Arms and legs or being able to bring someone to heaven? To bring someone to heaven. What do you think I want? Arms and legs or peace? Peace. You see, arms and legs doesn't give you purpose, doesn't give you strength, but the strength comes from your attitude and your faith to overcome. Does that make sense?
Yes, amen.
So I want you to know that you have a beautiful value just the way that you are. And secondly, to know the truth of your purpose. What's our purpose? To live and love each other as much as possible. You know, when you maybe live in Philippines, you could say, well, Nick, that was easy for you because you lived in Australia. Well, Australia wasn't paved with gold. In fact, the government couldn't supply me any help after high school. I couldn't receive $1 of help. And I couldn't go to university because no one could supply a nurse to help me as I studied. Well, guess how I went to university? It was because of one non-profit organization. And that was an establishment, an organization where Australians decided to not wait for the government to help. They decided not to wait for the rich people to help. But everyday Australians decided to help fellow Australians. With the money that they had, they fundraised for this organization, and they were able to supply me a nurse. Now, some people would say, well, it wasn't really a life or death situation that Nick could go to tertiary education. But imagine if I didn't get a double degree in accounting and financial planning. What if I didn't get that degree? I would not have gone to America. Well, what if I didn't go to America? I would not have got married to my wife. If I didn't have a wife, I wouldn't have my baby boy. It's amazing when Filipinos help Filipinos and do simple acts of generosity in this country. You do not know the impact you have on your country. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So love each other, support each other, believe in each other, and know that love is the greatest thing. And when we have those things in place, the third truth comes